everybody, welcome to the first edition of this season of Thursday Night Outdoors. I'm your host, Jim Carr, and we're going to have a great show here with this next season that we're going to have for you. We're going to have a bunch of guests on the show, a lot of our content providers, a lot of folks that are guides and outfitters, and we're just going to have the type of a show where we're going to be able to bring these folks in and talk about hunting and fishing and anything to do with outdoor activity out there that might interest you. Now I'm going to bring in some of the guys that you're going to be seeing a lot on the show. My co-host, which is going to be Shane Cannon, he's out there. And also I'm going to bring in John Sparks, who is our producer, and one of our camera guys. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing good. How about you, Lou?
Well, I'm doing good. We've had some stormy weather out here, but everything other than that's been pretty good, Shane.
I'm doing absolutely peachy, to be honest with you. I'm doing peachy.
Good.
I'm just excited, man. I'm excited.
Well, I am too. We used to do this before a live stream. Folks, we're going to be streaming on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. That, hopefully we're going to have a lot better audience. If you have questions, in just a little bit, we're going to bring our special guest in here for this evening. If you have any questions, we want you to talk with us and ask us different questions. If you have ideas about different shows you'd like to see on the program, by all means, let us know. And just feel free to get in there and engage with us and with our guests. Ask them all kinds of questions. The next guys that we're going to have, the first people we're going to have is the guys from the Battle Branch Boys. Now, there were supposed to be 3 of them tonight, but one of them had got called away because of all the rain and bad weather. So tonight we're just going to have Chase and Derek on with us. And these guys are in, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, when you come on, but I believe it's in Alabama. And we're going to take tonight and introduce, I can tell that was wrong right off. It's Arkansas then, right?
Yeah, Arkansas.
they're in the back end here, and I can see them looking, so I knew something was wrong, folks. But anyhow, we're going to bring them in, and we're going to talk about tonight the Battle Branch Boys. We're going to talk about them, their YouTube channel, what they're trying to do. There's 3 of them. They put together a really good show. For some of you out there that haven't seen their program, you can watch them on Roku on the Outdoor Adventures channel. You can watch them on their YouTube channel. So check them out. So let's, without further ado, let's go ahead and bring them on. All right, there they are, Chase and Derek from the Battle Branch Boys. Guys, how you doing tonight?
What's going on? Doing good. Doing great.
Good.
You're good. That's awesome. So
yeah, we're from. Oh, go ahead.
You guys said you were from Oklahoma and Arkansas, right?
Yes, we're based in the northeast Oklahoma, and we're actually northeast Oklahoma, northwest Arkansas. Me and Chase actually hunt both states, so we hunt Oklahoma and Arkansas both. So
that's awesome. So what got you guys into hunting in the first place?
My dad and my grandpa, for sure, just at a really, really young age. I mean, everywhere they went, I wanted to go, and they were always going hunting and fishing and rooms, and just time they had somewhere I wanted to go. So I was into it at a very, very young age.
Yeah, that's kind of the basis where I started at was just my dad and my grandfather, and wanted to kind of tag along with them, and I was fortunate enough to grow up starting out on small game and just kind of went up from there, and so now I'm a deer hunter, a turkey hunter, just a all-around fisherman. So
that's awesome. I mean, I know for these guys, they've done a ton of hunting, and I think it's really cool when you have a passion for something and you're bringing it out and you can call it back to family. Family, I think, is huge. I know for these guys, they've done a ton of hunting.
Turn it down.
I think it's really cool.
For sure.
Yeah, that's definitely when you can make those memories with those, with those people. It just makes it that much more special.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate enough. I'm fortunate enough to still have my dad and my grandpa around, so every opportunity I get to go hunting with them and fishing with them, I definitely don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Beautiful. That's beautiful, man.
Guys, what about you guys all? I guess this was my mistake because I just kind of looked at where you were at on your Facebook page and your about section and stuff. I didn't realize you were spread out like you was. I just kind of assumed that you guys were all kind of close together in the same area. So you're actually, all you guys are hunting in 3 different areas, 3 different, totally different locations.
No, not necessarily. We all live really close to each other. We live right on the Arkansas-Oklahoma line, so.
So we're that close.
Oklahoma. Yeah.
Yeah, we're Chase is based in Gentry, Arkansas. I'm in Siloam Springs, and so it's like literally there's like we're like one town apart from each other, so we're pretty close.
Now, do y'all
Very
look
Pretty good.
The Oklahoma state line is like five away from my house.
Okay, so you're reasonably close then.
Oklahoma, so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we hunt a lot of the same areas. So.
And I think you have it too, but we both actually grew up in Oklahoma, and then later on in life we moved across the line into Arkansas. But before we moved, we both got a lifetime Oklahoma license, so now we can both hunt Arkansas resident, but we hunt Oklahoma with a lifetime license. So it
All right.
gives us much more hunt opportunities and that many more tags.
Yeah.
Not that I would need that many.
All right.
I think between me and Chase, we get 24 tags a season for deer. So we can definitely we can get us some deer,
Well, that's good. And Logan, he's pretty close to you too.
Yeah. Logan actually lives in Colcord, Oklahoma, just across the line.
Okay, all right.
He couldn't be here tonight. He's the baseball coach for his son's baseball teams, and they're doing a bunch of makeup games because we've had so much rain. So he had to cancel
Okay.
tonight, but
Okay.
he'll probably be on. Hopefully in the future.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
What?
something to touch base on kind of with us is just kind of how we kind of formed together was that
Yeah, do that.
myself and then Chase and Logan, we were 3 separate content creators. We actually all had our own YouTube channels. And I started filming in 2016, and then Chase started, I think, around 2014, 15. And
Around there.
been doing it since, like the late 90s. He's been at it a while, so we all started our own channels doing our own thing, but down the line, Chase kind of left his channel, and my channel kind of ended, and so we all just kind of come together and kind of found each other with kind of a common purpose. And so we all love to film, we love to hunt, we love the outdoors, so just hook up and just kind of become one channel. And Chase actually found out through some history with families and stuff that Logan's family has actually hunted together in the past, and so there's some history there. And actually, me and Chase are the fortune of Marlowe and Shavers to actually hunt together.
Yeah.
So
Oh, wow.
there's some definite history there in this area. So, and we didn't know any of this until, I think I came on just into the boys last year. So, I came on board and we just found all this out kind of over the last year season, hunting together and filming and stuff. So
Very cool. Go ahead, John.
See,
Where
Down Home
did
Pursuit-
the name Battle
See,
Branch
did-
Boys come from?
I was going to ask that question. Dang.
It's actually a on where Logan hunts.
yeah,
So, Battle Branch Boys. Logan actually started Battle Branch Boys with his for his sons. Like they love hunting and fishing, and he loved filming. And whenever you guys meet Logan, you'll realize he's the tech guy. So he's big time and stuff like that. And he started the channel for his kids actually, and he would take them hunting and fishing and film all of it and stuff. And he started the Battle Branch Boys, and I actually had a channel called Groundskeeper Outdoors, and then Derek had Backstrap Brotherhood, and I've known Logan my whole life. And, me and Logan, like, we've known each other for a long time, and I was kind of getting tired of being the only person on mine. Like, so I kind of wanted like a teammate, and talked to Logan, and we were like, yeah, let's just join up, and we joined up, and I just went ahead and dumped the name that I was running under and started running his, and then Derek stopped his. What was it? 2 years ago?
2 years ago, yeah.
2 years ago, and then whenever he stopped doing his, I talked to him. We needed some more team members, so we asked him to join up too. But yeah, it's Battle Branch. Battle Branch is actually like a branch of a creek around here. So
Okay.
Was there an actual battle fought right there?
probably Logan's sons have had many battles out there.
Okay. Okay. All right. I just want to take a minute, guys, and I want to mention Billy Jake Toller from Down Home Pursuit. He said holler at me, so thanks for joining us, Billy, and I will be hollering at you pretty soon sometime for you to be a guest on the show. So, and also, I guess you guys, I don't know if you know Joe Canoy. He says you guys are awesome, so, we got a few comments there.
Thanks.
You know Joe, is he a friend?
Down,
Cool, good.
Yes, Joe's a friend. He's a local guy.
he's
Well,
Home Pursuit. I was gonna ask you what part of, like, what city are you in? If you're still watching, we'll get in touch with you.
they want to know, Billy Jake, what part of Oklahoma you're in. What city are you in? If you're still watching, we'll wait and see if he comes up with an answer. But Shane, I want you to talk just a little bit, if you would, about. I know where you hunt. You and I have hunted up there, and okay, he's in Blanchard. Did you guys see that? No, you didn't. Because
Click
you
it, bring it
didn't.
in.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry, but this is where you'll be doing this and not me. There, how's that? Is that better?
Yeah.
All right.
No Blanchard's that.
Oh my gosh. Guess where you're going to be spending Thursday night?
I've already got it planned out, brother. Already got it planned out.
Okay. Shane, you and I have hunted before. I know where you hunt. It's very hilly, very mountainous. It's like a lot of places where me and one of our other pro staff guys, Bo, have hunted. Very hilly, rocky, steep. I guess it's quite a bit different from where these guys hunt. I guess I'm asking this to both you and the Battle Branch boys, to both Chase and Derek. I get you both have different conditions to hunt in, okay?
Right.
Do you think that there's a difference in hunting terrain, the way deer act in different terrains when you're hunting in the mountains versus the flatter lands?
I think a lot of times it affects the rut, the weather especially, plus just the habitat in general. Like where I hunt, we got laurel thickets, rock cliffs, and, anything you could imagine. I've not got to hunt flatland a lot, but from what I have, there's not a whole lot of difference, but definitely enough to notice.
I've always wondered if it did make a big difference with the rut, especially state to state.
Right.
What do you guys think, Derek?
Well, I know now when you talk about mountains in North Carolina, the thing that comes to mind is like hunting. So are you guys like, are we talking like packing in and are we, what went into more depth? So are you like, you got acorns there? What are your food sources that you're kind of focused on? Because out here where we're at, our crop depends a lot on how we hunt our deer, because we don't have a lot of agriculture, if any at all. So we're located, and where we are is we're in the foothills of the Ozark Mountains.
Yeah.
So we hunt a lot of hollers and oak flats, and oak ridges, white oaks, post oaks, red oaks, stuff like that. And so we do fields and food plots where we will plant food plots and stuff like that, but mostly here it's just a lot of big mature timber. So kind of touch base with me on what you mean when you're hunting on mountains.
Well, now, we do have some places where you really need to pack in, like you say. A lot of it, though, we have pretty good four-wheeler roads and stuff in, so we don't have to walk that far. But now, as far as our rut goes, ours usually kicks in around the end of October, first couple weeks of November. I have seen it a little earlier or a little later, but that's typically on average when it is. But yeah, we have occasionally we plant food plots too, but like I say, mostly just oak timber and stuff like that we try to hunt.
Derek, I want to ask you another. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, kind of elaborate on what Derek. I guess whenever you hear people say, I hunt in Oklahoma, you think like the prairie and just flat land. But like I said, we're on the border of Arkansas and Oklahoma. So we're still kind of in the Ozark range a little bit. So where we're at, we're hunting, it's not like flatland prairie style hunting. We have some pretty good size. I wouldn't call them mountains, but they definitely suck to climb sometimes.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah, I've noticed
just
that
to elaborate on
in your
what
videos. It's heavily wooded. There is significant terrain out there, so it's very much not what I would expect hearing Oklahoma, but hearing the fact that you're in the foothills of the Ozarks,
Yes.
it makes a lot of sense now. It makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and the crazy thing is where we hunt, it's right on the Arkansas-Oklahoma line, so we're really far east in Oklahoma, and we're about probably hour and 15 minutes away from Tulsa, Oklahoma. And if you take 412 from where we are to Tulsa, about a quarter of the way to Tulsa, it turns into that prairie. So we're not very far from the prairie, but we don't hunt in it.
Yeah.
Have you thought about potentially doing? Have you thought about potentially doing hunts out there in that kind of prairie land and just seeing what it would look like for you?
I actually I've went out to Cimarron County out in the panhandle of Oklahoma, and I hunted I hunted antelope out there a couple times, and I hunted elk out there. I actually killed an elk in a cornfield, but I was like 8 miles south of Colorado, and it's definitely a big learning curve from what I'm used to. It's if you're used to that style of hunting and you know what you're doing, you know where the deer, the antelope are traveling out there, and you can set up on a water hole or something like that. I mean, that to me would have to be the ticket out there, is like water. But
yeah.
It was tough. I'm not gonna lie, it was tough because I just wasn't used to it. Whenever I'm used to more so, I'm on a tree stand. I'm always up in a tree stand, or I'm in a blind, and I'm surrounded by thick timber. So it was tough. I'm not gonna lie.
Now, a lot of the hunting out in that area is a lot of spot and stalk too, ain't it?
Yeah, a lot. When you start talking about western, kind of going out west Oklahoma, you're, I think antelope hunting's a lot of spot and stalk.
Oh yeah, out there is for sure.
Yeah, here you could spot and stalk here, but you just don't have the visibility that you do out west.
Right.
Here, and you get in a tree here, and you may only be able to see 60 yards from that tree, because it is heavily wooded. In the fall when the leaves come off, you can see more and stuff. So.
But yeah, out west is definitely spot and stalk or set up over water. That's about it.
Yeah.
Or possibly in with like a decoy or rattling, or just depends on what you're after out there. Because out west, the further west you go, I mean, the species just there's so many of them.
Yeah.
Basically, where we're at, there's just whitetail.
Yeah.
I want to change gears just for a little bit here, Derek, and ask you a question. About a week ago, I saw you do a video that you passed along to me, and it kind of stirred up some interest in me because you were talking about hunting on private land versus you were setting up cameras, okay? You were talking about hunting on private land versus hunting on public land. Do you guys hunt on public land much, or do you have mostly private land? From what I got from the video, you were really close to public land. Elaborate on that a little bit, because it was interesting, because down here, folks down here, they're really tight with their land. To find a lot of private land to hunt down here in North Carolina is really hard. It can be found, but there's a lot of public land hunting down here. So if you have some pointers maybe for some of these guys that have to hunt on public land, would be good to pass along.
Yeah, so Jim, I actually, public land was where I cut my teeth at. Growing up, we didn't have private land, and really between myself, Chase, and Logan, we probably don't have 150 acres between all of us in private land as far as, property that we hunt ourselves. Now, public land, we do have access to quite a bit of public land where we are. There's, I think, Oklahoma. The closest piece in Oklahoma is around 16,000 acres, and the closest one we have here in Arkansas is actually right around 14,000 acres. And that's where
That's a lot of land.
we're hunting public land at. Now, public land here is, you've got to kind of change your styles and change what you're doing, because of course you're not just, I mean, as far as like natural deer movement, you're kind of hunting kind of people movement as well, because people move kind of shifts deer movement. So in the video that you're talking about, Jim, that I sent you, one way that I hang cameras on public land is that I actually carry in a saddle and climbing stick, and I'll actually hang my trail camera. Probably I've tried to put it about 10 foot up a tree to try to get into a field of view from another hunter seeing it. Because, you know, trail cameras coming up missing, huge problem on public land. We've lost, I'm no chase, can probably tell you this, we've lost countless cameras on public land. If you want to use that, you know, you got to think out of the box. So if you are wanting to use trail cam, that is one way you can do it. And also, on our public lands, we can't use any bait. So we cannot bait on public land. I think on the public land here in Arkansas, we can't put corn out, can't put minerals. And also in Arkansas, we are in a CWD management area. So we also can't use natural scents where we are in Arkansas. Cool. Now in Oklahoma, you can't put feeds out, but you can use like minerals. Like salts and stuff like that, and like trace minerals, you can put those out in Oklahoma. But Oklahoma does not, the part of what we hunt does not have a CWD area like Arkansas does. So
Okay.
a lot of those things are going to kind of play into how we hunt. So
okay, I think I heard you correctly. I think you said that you can use deer scent. No, you can't. Okay, well, it chopped just for a minute there on the audio, so I missed it. But okay, so you can't now. But can you use synthetic?
yes, you can use synthetic. We're not allowed to use natural.
Okay.
So I haven't. I've grown up. I've always used natural scents. So changing the game over and using synthetics, it's kind of rough to find one that actually kind of, I don't know, is really hard to get. You can't beat the real thing, you know what I mean? Like, I
know what you're saying.
69 commercials, you know. But,
yeah, I can remember when I was little. It didn't matter what deer we killed. My dad was like, "Hey, don't spill these back. I'm gonna kill that."
Yeah. Those are definitely my father. One thing he did was he actually cut the dorsal glands off of bucks and put them in Ziploc bags and freeze them.
I used to
use those.
One of my co-hosts way back when we first started, he was from Georgia, and we used to hunt down there a lot. And that's what he used to do. He'd cut the dorsal glands off of them, and not only that, but he would put them and seal them in his bag, in a bag with his hunting clothes for a cover scent. Okay, and wonder why his wife wouldn't wash clothes. Okay, so I mean, but it worked. He'd get a lot of deer, he'd harvest a lot of deer, but I'll tell you what, he was the most smelliest thing. When you were filming, you didn't have him below you. You always put him above. Okay, the camera guy never put him below.
That was the guy you draw straws to hunt with, huh? But yeah, Jim, that's kind of. I mean, just
true story. True story.
We've been in the CWD zone, Arkansas. It was found. What was it? 2018 or 2017, somewhere around there. It was right. I know. I moved to Arkansas, and I think I hunted maybe a year or two And at one point in time, coming to Arkansas, I was nervous from Oklahoma because Arkansas actually had a 3-point rule. So if you was going to harvest a buck in Arkansas, you had to make sure that dude had 3 points on one side. So I was pretty nervous starting to hunt in Arkansas because in Oklahoma, the area I hunted in, they just had to be 6 inches above the hairline. So if you seen the horn, you know, but Arkansas, you better count them. But here, there's no antler restrictions, and we can't use natural scents, and so the public land game has changed as far as in that video. We can transport deer. There's like I think they have it split in tiers. So we're in tier 1, and there's tier 2. And I think you can't transfer deer between both of them, and you can't transfer them out of state. The meat has to be off the bone, or the skull has to be cleaned before it can leave the state or in the tier you're in, as far as the CWD zone.
Right. All my years hunting in the woods, I've seen some strange things, especially filming. You know, I've seen deer, you know, look at the camera and not pay any attention to it. Then I've seen deer just, you know, run away like crazy. I've seen guys, well, I've known of guys smoking in the tree stand while they're there, and they still shoot a deer, drive their 4-wheelers up to the tree stand, and they still get a deer. You know, it amazes me that some of these guys are pretty lucky. But anyways, I don't know. It just amazes me how some people can go out there and take every precaution to harvest a deer, and then yet the guy who doesn't take precautions just gets fortunate enough to shoot one. Now, I've seen it over and over, and I've done some things myself where I thought, you know, the deer's going to bust me with the camera and just look at you and go about his way, and next thing I know, you're chasing the deer around trying to get him to the truck to bring him to the processor. So they're a strange animal. I mean, you guys know that as well as I do. They, I really think, you know, where you're hunting, you know, how you're hunting, according to the wind and things like that, play an important part. I think masking your scent plays an important part. I'm still out a little bit on deer scent. I've done a lot of testing on it. We have some of our own deer scent that we manufacture, but and I've seen some of it work, and then again I've seen some of it that was like, I don't know, was this a coincidence? So I'm still out on deer scents a little bit. Now mineral salts, I'm a firm believer in putting out the mineral salts on stumps and things like that. When you know, if you've got a place you can do that and hunt, I've seen a lot of activity when you start doing that with mineral salts. Right, Shane?
During
do what?
During this time of year, you know, well, not necessarily like right now, but here pretty soon I'll be putting like all my cameras out and you know, just kind of taking an inventory on what will be after this year, which I already have a pretty good idea, but I want to just make sure that they're still there and
right.
Plus, it's
right.
like, the first time I check cameras is like morning for me. So, but here pretty soon I'll be going out and doing that, and you know, I just like seeing what I'm gonna have, and then just kind of trying to figure out what they're doing, and trying to make a game plan for whenever the season finally gets here. That to me is one of the funnest parts of the season, even though I'm not hunting them yet because the season isn't here yet. That's probably to me one of my favorite parts of hunting deer.
It's like the anticipation.
I also Big and J too. I mean, I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but I really feel like it works well.
Shane, you started to say something a little while ago. When we're talking about the deer scent and the mineral salts and stuff. I know you hunt with mineral salts, and I know you hunt with deer scent. What's your take on it?
Well, hardly ever use a lot of cover-up scent. I've noticed that here where I'm at in the mountains, usually as long as you get 10 or 15 feet off the ground, you ain't got as much wind to worry about. Now, if I'm hunting out of a ground blind or something like that, I'll definitely use like a earthy cover-up scent of some kind. I just really never have felt the need to, try a lot of different kinds of cover-up scents.
So, I think my next question is:
sorry.
Out of all of the places that you two have hunted over your lifetime, what is the most difficult place or your most difficult hunt, and what did you learn from it that could be good for somebody in the future that is kind of going through the same thing?
Did you guys get that? I know we had
It is the Rocky Mountains.
The Rockies?
Yeah.
Hey, John, you might repeat that. You might repeat that question because we had a burp in the stream for some reason, and you cut out a little bit.
Oh, okay. What I was asking is the most difficult place that you've hunted in your life, and what you've learned from it, from that situation, what made it difficult, and what was your way to kind of fix that problem, and how that can kind of help somebody in the same situation.
I would definitely have to say for me, I don't know what it is for Derek, but for me, it's the rock. We're like, as we said earlier, we're from Arkansas and Oklahoma, and I usually try to get out either if I can every year, but if not, for sure every other year, and chase elk. And next year I'm actually going for mule deer, more than likely if I get drawn. But the hardest part about it for me is definitely the thin air. I mean, we have plenty of oxygen around here, and it's scarce up there. So, and the higher you go, the less of it there is, and there's no training for it. I mean, I get up there and literally, like, I'll see something that I want to go to, and I'll know it's going to take like 3 or 4 hours to get there, and then my lungs make it more like 7 or 8 hours to get there. You literally up there, you take 5 steps, and if you're going up vertical, I mean, I have to stop. I literally have to stop going up a mountain.
Oh yeah.
I'll stop every 10 steps probably.
It's like hiking with a plastic bag on your head.
I keep trying to get Derek to go, but he's like, "No, man, I don't want to get out there in that stuff."
I've actually never been to. I mean, as far as hunting out of state, I don't do a lot of out of state trips. When you said where's the hardest place you've ever hunted, the first thing that popped in my head was 2018. I actually hunted a river bottom here in West Arkansas, and I never really hunted a river bottom before. And when I say river bottom, I'm pretty much talking like it's flat, no hills, nothing like that, and it's pretty much a floodplain. And there's issues all over it, little ranges here and there. There's some not very big trees to hunt out of because most of them's been washed out.
Thick vegetation.
Yeah, thick vegetation. it's really green. Big stands of river cane. And in 2018, I just kind of got into mobile hunting, where I had actually doing a lot of hanging hunting. And I went into this river bottom, and I had 3 different bucks on camera. I had 8 points and a 10 point that had actually bachelored up. This was late season. We're talking towards the end of December, first part of January. And me and a buddy went in and we started scouting this piece of public. And by that time of year, what has sparked my interest to going into that portion of public land was that time of year, a lot of people are burnt out and the traffic on public land kind of dies out because the Arkansas season is so long. So I chased these bucks for probably, I want to say, a good month, and I never could. It's time very high movement. You may catch a daylight maybe every 4 or 5 days, and being a guy who works full time and being more of a weekend warrior, it was a strain to kind of figure that situation out. But if I could give anybody any pointers as far as if you do hit an area that does turn out hard to hunt, or you're just and because one thing, and what that kind of stems from, is there's actually a drainage about, I think, around 100 yards from my stand where I'd been hunting in the area, and I actually found a lot of big buck tracks in that drainage ditch. And so I was actually thinking to myself, if I would have found these sooner, this is probably how these bucks were getting through here, is we might have been able to make a more, a better move on a different move, or maybe they to you and you're thinking, but a deer would never do that. You might want to rethink it again, because I've seen some deer do some pretty crazy things. And so don't ever give up. Think outside the box and boots on the ground. Scout as much as possible.
So in other words,
And
God
for-
is great, deer are crazy, keep your head on a swivel. Got it.
Yeah.
Because that 110 point, I swear the buck was probably a good 130-inch buck, and I promise you, he probably walking down that drainage ditch right behind me. Or that was his travel route from bedding to food. And I just never, it was like 100 yards away. So probably was close, but I just never thought there'd been, I'm going to look in that drainage ditch,
Yeah.
And if I have any advice to give about hunting the rock, it's to get into the best shape of your life before you go.
Yes, you're right about that.
Get
That's
into
for
the
sure.
best shape, or just don't.
Just don't go.
Just don't. It's funny.
Road
There,
hunt.
me and my buddy, my buddy Levi, he goes with me, and every time we go out there, we're like pumped up about going, and finally the trip gets here, and we get out to Colorado, and we get our camp set up, like a base camp, and then we go out and we're like, oh my gosh, why do this? And then it's the craziest thing. It's so weird. Like we're always just like, we're considered to the people up there in the Rockies, flatlanders is what they call us. But we'll get up there and we'll be like, oh, why do we do stupid? And then as soon as the trip's over and we're in the truck on the way back home, next year, and it's the weirdest thing.
We're never doing this again, never ever. And on the way out, you're like, all right, you want to come back next week, or?
Yeah, Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. I don't understand it, but whenever we're out there punishing ourselves, we're like, this sucks, and then we leave, and man, can't wait to go back. It kind of makes you think of, or it makes me think of, I watch Meat Eater a lot on Netflix, and Steve Hernandez, you have to judge your fun times in like, I think the example he uses is a roller coaster. Like, you have fun on a roller coaster, but you don't remember the roller coaster 20 years from now. And you might be suffering on elk hunt, and it sucks and you hate it, but whenever you get done, you're like, man, I'm gonna remember that for forever.
Yeah, it's like what is that?
I think
that
that was
old.
one thing I told a buddy the other day that.
It's just makes me think of that old phrase of it's never the destination, it's the journey.
Yeah.
Let me ask you.
That one common thing I tell.
Let me ask you guys another question here, okay? What are your plans for the future? Where do you see the Battle Branch boys going? What are some of the things you're planning on doing here this 2021 deer season? A lot of you folks, if you haven't checked them out on their YouTube channel or on the Roku channel, I would rather watch them on the big screen than on my phone. Because to me, it's just more exciting, but that's just the way I like doing it. But they have a really, really good program. I think Logan does most of your editing and everything, and it's really, Edgy does a great job. And so where do you guys see you going in the future? Go ahead, just tell us about your future.
Me and Logan, we talked about this a couple days ago. We've been talking a lot about season 3, and when we want to release season 3. Season 3 will be our 2020 and 2021 season. It'll actually be my first season with Battle Branch Boys, so you'll get to see some of my hunts on there as well, and you'll get to see Chase on there. And Logan had a phenomenal season last year. Like, dude, hands down, had the best season you could possibly have, and we talked about that the other day. So season be riding along sometime around in August, I think is when we're talking about. And the future, as far as what it looks like for us, is I think we're just going to keep filming, keep hunting. I think we'd like to release some fishing stuff, but I think me and Chase, we seem to be more hunters than fishermen. But I don't know, Chase. I mean, as far as you're kind of the veteran member of the Battle Branch Boys here, where?
We've talked about it a lot, and we really want to start seeing more video more often. We've some kind of in the vault, tucked away, that we haven't edited yet. Like Derek was saying, Logan had a great season. We actually released one of those videos. It was actually the Chuck video, and where me and Logan went out, and he killed one of his target bucks on the opening day of Oklahoma bow season, and then later on, we actually normally we don't get this season we a lot of them. And one day he called me and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Man, I'm out here in the snow looking to see where these deer are traveling." And he's like, "That's a good idea. I need to go do that." And so he took a GoPro with him, and I don't give too much away.
Yeah.
But
you're not gonna believe it.
Yeah,
this doesn't happen to everybody.
Whenever he called me and told me I thought he was lying,
I'll
tell you that much. But he goes out in the snow and he just puts a gun on his bow, and you won't believe what happened. But that video is gonna be coming out soon. Me and Derek were actually talking about some like catch and cook videos, like fishing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And we do. Yeah, I really want to get into the catch and cook stuff. I really like watching it, and all the YouTube channels that I watch have a really good following. So,
yeah,
I mean, I'm not a cook, but I like eating it. So.
Yeah,
I just want to say that Chuck episode was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And I completely agree.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Catch, clean, cook. That's amazing, because you could take fish that people think are garbage and show them that it's not the fish, it's just the fact that you don't know how to cook. I think that's genius.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's educational for a lot of people too, especially ones that's just getting into fishing. Because you, from start to finish, filleting the fish, breading it, cooking it, everything.
Everything.
It makes a great show.
I think
Hey, John,
the things that
you got that?
I know I struggle with it.
Go ahead, guys.
I think that's one of the things that I really struggle with is, and I think Derek and Logan would probably agree with me. We've talked about it several times, but we've talked about adding more like informational stuff into our videos in the future, but I don't know. I guess we're just kind of modest, and I guess I don't feel like, you know, why would somebody want to listen to what I have to say about how to do this? I guess I just don't realize how many
I'll tell you
people.
why. And that's what, 15, 20 years worth of experience? How many years between all three of you? That's why people want to listen. Because you guys have been doing it since you were kids.
Exactly. And you know, the way I look at that is exactly like what John just said. It's the experience behind you, but also it's more also that it's not what I know. Okay, it's what I've learned from you watching you guys tonight, going out fishing with Shane. You know, when I first brought John on, you know, don't let this go to your head, John, but you know, him and I talked about stuff that was like, wait a minute, why did I think about that? So I mean, you know, it's not what I know; it's what I've learned from other anglers and other hunters and people in the outdoors. And I just pass it along to other people.
Yeah.
And you will never get to the point where you're beyond.
That was one thing that Logan had pointed out.
Go ahead, Shane.
What did you say, Shane?
Oh, I just said, and you will never get to the point to where you are beyond learning. You can always learn.
Exactly. Yep.
Oh yeah, always.
Yeah.
Just like Derek was saying a while ago, like do those things that you think are never gonna work. You might think that you might find out that it works really well. You never know.
Yeah, that's the smallest detail that you think people should know. I promise you, they don't know. You know, so kind of when the light bulb flipped on for me was I told Logan that I brought a set of binos with me shed hunting, and he said, "Why are you using binos to shed hunt with?" And I'm like, "Well, you stop on a ridge or you want to glass a hillside, you might see a shed that you wouldn't walk past it, And Logan said, well, I never would have thought I was on a shed hunt before. So, I mean, it's just the smallest little details that you think, well, everybody should know that. It's kind of dogs that people don't know that. So,
Yeah.
Exactly.
and that's
Exactly.
the kind of thing you want to hear.
I got to know one thing, guys. We're going to get out of here really soon.
Like I was talking about.
But what's that? Go ahead. Who did I step on?
Oh, go ahead. Oh no, you're good. I don't even remember what I was saying.
Okay. I want to know. Joe says, "Who's Chuck?" Chuck was a nice buck. Tell us about Chuck.
Chuck, the deer in the first episode that we released, that Logan killed on the opening day of Okobo season. And me and Logan, I was actually gonna go hunting that day, and the wind switched throughout the day. I was gonna hunt that evening, and the wind switched, started coming out of a terrible direction. So I called Logan and I was like, "Hey man, I'm not gonna go set my stand. The wind switched and they come from that direction. They're just gonna wind me, and I'm never gonna see anything." So I was like, "The wind's perfect for you. What do you what do you want to do?" He's like, "Well, come to my house." So I went over to his house. He already had 2 stands hung up in the tree, so I want to say we had like 6 cameras up in the tree with us, and that's no exaggeration. We had like 6 cameras up in the tree with us, and I'm trying to run like of them, it felt like, and we were fortunate enough on the opening day to get Chuck. Chuck came in. We seen a lot of deer that evening, but Chuck came in and he was one of Logan's target bucks, and he came in and gave him a perfect quartering shot at 20 yards.
Cool.
All I'm saying is having a deer named Chuck and wanting to do catch and cook is a perfect opportunity
There you go.
to do a show called Chuck Roast.
Okay, Chuck Roast. Good, John. Okay.
We're gonna have to hire John to come up with our.
Yeah. Yes.
Hire John to come up with the names for our YouTube video.
Yeah.
Damn it, jokes for
Chuck
the
was
win.
definitely
Yeah.
a team effort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he was a gorgeous deer. Gorgeous deer.
One
I
more,
mean, he had the mohawk. That was awesome.
He had a gigantic body.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
one more question.
So we released.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Jack Shane.
You cut out a little bit.
If you could only choose one thing to hunt with the entire season, would you pick a bow, rifle, slug?
Good question.
Black powder? Just curious, what's your favorite part of hunting with the...
Well,
Mine's definitely the bow, and here lately I've actually been trying to make my own bows, my own long bows, and I really want to kill one with one of those this year. But
that would be cool.
definitely bow, definitely archery, some kind of archery, whether it be compound or longbow or recurve.
Yeah, I definitely think archery is where it is. I do more. You could almost consider me a full-time bow hunter because I mean, if I grab a gun, it's just to go get some meat. If I'm bow hunting, I'm hunting.
If I grab a bow, I'm just mad because I haven't killed anything with my bow, so I'm gonna go kill something.
John, you have any more questions?
I'm plumb out. I got nothing. It's empty.
Well, okay, I'm going to leave that alone. But hey, guys, listen, I want to appreciate you you coming on this evening. We'll have you on again. Maybe we can even get Logan in here to join us when he's not so busy. And we appreciate you, all your shows that you're providing us there for the Outdoor Adventures channel. You, any of you folks out there that are with us, please go and check these guys' YouTube channel out. They've got a lot of really, really good shows, and they take a lot of time and they take a lot of pride doing what they do. So I want anybody out there that's watched us tonight, I want to appreciate your let you know I appreciate your comments, and I appreciate you watching our show tonight. Next show is going to be, we're only going to do this bi-weekly right now until we pick up a little speed here. So the next show is going to be on the 17th, and we're going to have a real special guest, John Jeffcoat from One Over Outdoors. Now, John's from South Carolina. He fishes Santee Cooper. He fishes Lake Murray, Lake Watery, and them lakes. And John is, right now, he's catching some really big catfish. And so we're going to have John on, and, we're going to pick his ear a little bit and see if we can't get some information and some secret fishing spots from him for you guys to try out. So be sure to tune in. It's going to be a great show. But back to you guys, Chase and Derek. We appreciate you coming on tonight and spending an hour with us. And like always, all of our followers out there.
Thank you for having us.
All of our followers. And John, I appreciate your help. And Shane, I appreciate you coming on there as co-host on the show. And I hope we all have a great season coming up this year. Hopefully everything will come together good for us, hunting, fishing, whatever it is we do in the outdoors.
Yeah.
So,
one quick thing.
Sure. Yeah.
Go ahead, John.
Quick thing before we go. Anybody who is watching this live or watching it later, and you're not following these guys, do it. Okay? Just don't ask questions.
Yeah.
Just go and subscribe. Go and follow. It's what good people do. Be good people. Be good people. Show support. Be good people.
Yeah, check us out on the Roku channel. Check us out on the Roku channel, or go to YouTube at the Battle Branch Boys. And be sure and click that subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it.
Just do it. You know you want
Just
to.
do it.
Just do it.
All right, everybody. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We hope to see you here in a couple of weeks. Maybe if something comes up, we may even schedule a live stream earlier than this. We'll see. But we're going to have a lot of interesting gifts. Yeah, we're going to have some gifts too here eventually. But a lot of interesting guests. And I think a lot of you folks out there will enjoy it. So I'm Jim Carr, and for Shane Cannon and John Sparks, Derek, and Chase, we want to thank you for tuning in and hanging with us for this hour. And like always, I'm Jim from Carolina Outdoor Adventures TV. We'll see you someplace next week in the great outdoors when we do it all again. Catch you later, guys.
See ya.